Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I always come back. I told you I am consistent. Today I am welcoming you to BJ spot or Betty spot. So you're going to choose which one it's going to be. BJ spot, welcome to BJ spot. Welcome to Betty spot. So choose which one, and whichever one gets the most votes, that's the one I'm going to choose. But today we're going to say welcome to BJ spot. I'm in here as usual, making my coffee before I start the video, because you know in my window, I only drink black coffee and water, because that's what works for me. But I'm going to go ahead, get myself a little bit of coffee, and you know what? We're going to talk about jumping out that intermittent fasting window. I'm not going to keep you, so you know what I'm going to say. Let's go. Well, now, since I already fixed my cup of coffee and it's on my desk, you know, with the intermittent fasting, I do that little show of my body. It's not much to show. I think my waist got a little smaller. I can say that. And here's my little back and thighs, and arms still a good size, and hips. And that's about it. But we're going to get started at BJ spot. Yes, we are. We're going to start. We're going to learn a lot, and I'm going to learn a lot from you. Okay? And don't forget to vote on BJ spot or Betty spot. Yeah, I'm ready today. In this cloudy outside. Ready, ready, ready. Okay, I am finally sitting here with my cup of coffee. It took me a while to get here and sit down at BJ spot. I had to rewarm my coffee because it took a little while for me to set up. But I'm here now, and we're going to go right into slipping out the window. We know, or the ones that don't know about intermittent fasting, you open a window to eat at a certain time, and you close the window when you stop eating, and you don't eat again until the next day. And you want to find the most convenient window for yourself. For me, it's 3 to 8. And the reason I like that, because it's like the mid-afternoon and then early part of the evening. But that's convenient for me. I would love to do like a 8 to 1 or something. But it's just convenient to me because, you know, if you have family late in the afternoon, you want to think about all that. If you still want to eat with your family, you want to do that. And you know, there's always things that come up. You could get sick, different medications you have to take. You can have family birthdays, you can have holidays. All that comes in when you're doing intermittent fasting. And what makes it so nice is you can still eat those foods and stay in your window, okay? And if you slip out that window just a little bit, you want to get yourself right back in. And this brings me to Latchkey, what he said, which really made everything so simple to me. And he said, we're always going to come back to that comfort food. No matter what diet, if it's intermittent fasting, if it's the Mediterranean, any kind of diet, you always gonna come back to that comfort food, no matter what you say. Okay, so what makes it so nice with intermittent fasting, since you're eating the foods you want anyway, you're gonna have that comfort no matter what. But you want to make sure that when you do slip out that window, you bring your little self right on back in. Because I can say with me is I slipped out that window a little too much, and I paid for it. And that's why I'm sitting here and I'm back in that window. And I always say that when I started back, it's been about 5 weeks ago, I think. When I started back, I just made sure that I stay consistent in that window. I didn't worry about what I ate. I just wanted to make sure I opened my window and I closed my window. And when you first start, I say try to stay consistent, at least that first month where you really get used to it. Dr. Burt says that it takes a good 3 weeks to kind of get yourself acclimated and tweak things if you don't see any weight loss, or and sometimes some people don't see weight loss for 3 weeks. When I first did intermittent fasting, I did not see weight loss for 3 months. And the only reason it kept me sane, because I didn't pick up any weight, it maintained my weight. So that means that I was eating enough to maintain and not to lose. But at some point, somewhere, I must have slowed it up and didn't eat as much. And another thing too, I like to say is you may overcompensate when you first started, because you're like, oh, I can't eat again till 3 o'clock tomorrow. So you may overcompensate, but believe me, when you overcompensate, you are going to be miserable, and that food is not going to move. And another reason you want to be careful is because sometimes you slip out that window, and then when you come back in, you try to eat a lot less, or you try to make that scale go down fast. And I can give an example of that is my son. He was doing really, really well, but then he wanted to speed it up, and I talked to him a little bit and say sometimes that don't work. Sometimes it works against you, because then you're not going to do that for a lifetime. So he fell off the wagon, because you can't try to speed it up, because it may work against you. And I've seen a lot of people that's what it did. But anything in life is, you're going to slip. It's like going up that little slope and you slip, but you don't want to tumble all the way over. You want to climb your little self back in that window. Okay, we're going to read this little part from Dr. Burt's book. It's called Slipping. He know about slipping. He says slipping is a natural part of adjusting to an AC eating schedule, both in adjustments and in maintaining the lifestyle. As long as you keep a fasting pattern, a slip or an early breakfast for a social occasion won't cause your body to immediately lose its adaptation to fasting. It takes a few days of not fasting for that to happen. If you break your fast early one day, it may cause you to feel that clock hunger. So say if I broke my fast at 1 o'clock to go to lunch with friends, the next day my body might say I'm hungry. So that's clock hunger at that certain time instead of 3 o'clock. Okay? So that's why you want to immediately get back to your window. And if you ignore the clock hunger, I'll tell your body that breakfast or break fast isn't until your usual break fast time, the hunger will usually pass. So basically what he's saying is, if I ate one day at 1 o'clock and I want to get back to my 3 o'clock where I normally open, that next day when 1 o'clock comes, I'm going to be hungry, but it will pass to get you back to 3 o'clock. So you might have to busy yourself just a little bit, but it's so much easier to do it quickly than to wait. Okay? So slipping, we all gonna do that. And I know a couple of people talked about that, and eating with your family members. But I always say, just put your blinders on and just keep at it, and you will see results, and that will even make you work harder. And also remember that intermittent fasting is not a fast weight loss. you may lose about a pound a week. And that's what I say. Sometimes you may go up to 2. If you're heavier, it might be a bigger loss. If you're smaller, it's probably going to be around that pound. Okay? So it is not a fast pace. It is like a tortoise, and it will come off. You just stick with it, and you have to believe in the process. Your body knows what to do. Always remember that. You're just trying to get that appetite correction to kick in, because the body would ordinarily do it. Okay, so once it gets used to you eating at that certain time, it's going to use that fat when you close that window, and you may feel a little hungry. But I'm fortunate this time I'm not hungry when my window closed. But when about 2 o'clock come, I'm starting to get hungry at that time. I'm getting that stomach hunger, that stomach hunger, not that head hunger. And I hope that I explained that well. But next I'm going to talk about the scale. I really don't weigh and have not weighed basically with this since I started back, because that scale will run me, and let me say me, crazy. Some people it won't. Okay, Latchkey, he plays around with it and he's fine, and I'm fine, and I be happy, and I'm his cheerleader for life. And I always bring him up because I know that we're close enough that he can say something that he don't think that I said right. Okay, so but let me tell you a little bit about my past. I used to be the one that would get on the scale, off the scale, on the scale, off the scale. I would force that scale to tell me what I wanted. In the evening, I would know I would be 2 pounds over what I would weigh in the morning. Okay? I would weigh, like I said, morning, evening, and night. And I drove myself crazy. And sometimes if you see that, it really bothers you. And I also remember Dr. Burt, what he also said in his book, sometimes you don't see it on the scale. Okay? Sometimes you see it in your inches. Your face probably starts getting thinner. Okay? So sometimes you can see it and other people can see it. So that scale sometimes is not the best indicator. But if that scale makes you comfortable, I said use it. Okay? Because we each are on this journey by ourselves. And whatever works with your window, whatever works with what you eat. Some people can eat all week with intermittent fasting and stay in their windows. In the weekend, they just go and eat what they want, and then they come back Monday and they go right into back what they generally do. So, I mean, and it works for them. Okay? So, another thing too is, and everybody's a little difference of opinion on this, is what you eat, what you drink, because you're not going to eat, what you drink outside that window. Because you really don't want to get that blood sugar up. You want that body to be in that fasting state so it can also repair itself and regenerate itself and burn that fat off. So that's another thing. The only thing I do is I drink black coffee. I used to didn't like black coffee, but I love it now. And water. And that's it. But like I said, some people add a little cream to their coffee. Some people drink diet sodas. So I don't know if that raise your sugar level or not. I don't know. And I definitely need to reread that in Dr. Burt's book. And if I don't understand any more, then I'll make sure I ask him. But that's enough about that scale. Now, did you exercise this week? Everybody put their hands up. I did not exercise this week. It's not funny. I really need to start moving. and I really need to get motivated. Tiff, I need to get motivated. You're motivating me and you're doing so good. I'm going to end this with saying we eat what we want in our windows, okay? Intermittent fasting is just so simple. We open a window and we close a window. We don't go out the window, slip out. We jump back in, right on, and start all over again. Okay, I don't have to wait for Monday. It could be that next day, the same day, jump back in that window. We're going to eat the healthiest. I have to laugh about that. We're going to eat the healthiest that we can because we're only eating in that certain amount of time in that window. So just try, to add some salads and some fruits. And please talk to your doctor first before you start on any diets or the intermittent fasting. But again, I'm going to let you go and I'm going to let you leave. I am Betty J. Gathers at BJ Spot. I want you to subscribe. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, everybody, because that helps me grow. And you know what I'm going to say? Let's go.